If you're over 50 or heading that way, this episode is for you. We're going to break down what BPH is, benign enlarged prostate or benign prostatic hyperplasia, why it happens, what you can do about it naturally, and help prevent complications. So let's dive right in. It's a non-cancerous enlargement of the prostate gland. It's a walnut-sized organ, or at least it should be, and it's just below your bladder. But as it grows, it presses against the urethra, where we carry our urine, causing those all too familiar urinary symptoms as we age. And if you hit 50 or above, you'll probably know what I'm talking about. Frequent urination, polyuria, especially at night, nocturia, and then there's urgency where you just suddenly can't hold it in anymore. There can be weak and interrupted stream. You can have difficulty starting, hesitation, or maintaining flow, and you can feel like your bladder's never really fully empty. You could have dribbling at the end of urination, and you can have pelvic pain or even sexual dysfunction like erectile issues. Now, it's essential to address these symptoms early because BPH just doesn't go away on its own, and it can lead to further complications. So if it's left untreated, it can cause UTIs, urinary tract infections, because the urine is trapped, the bacteria overgrowth are growing in there and causing an infection. You can get bladder stones, you can disrupt or rupture the bladder wall, and it can lead to kidney damage over time. So it's not something you want to hang around with and sit on, quite literally. Now, as you age, hormones play a big role. Testosterone will naturally drop as you get older. Estrogen is starting to rise, and particularly estradiol. Now, estradiol is useful for the brain, but if you get too much of it and if you don't have enough testosterone, it leads to prostate enlargement and can trigger prostate growth. Now, risk factors are you're over 50, you have a family history of it, you have physical inactivity, you're not moving enough, a high carb diet, chronic heart condition, or diabetes are all closely associated with benign prostatic hyperplasia. That will be exacerbated by things such as gut or bladder microbiome changes, which causes inflammation, and inflammation will increase the size of the prostate. Chronic stress will disrupt hormone balance and lower your testosterone. And environmental toxins like BPH or plastics act as xenoestrogens, which promote prostate enlargement. Chronic inflammation, oxidative stress, being a driver, a lorry driver or a bus driver also factors in this. But the good news is there's a lot that can be done about this naturally. And there's some tools that you can use to support prostate health. Now, when it comes to diet, certainly keeping less meat, more vegetables is a really important way forward. But lycopene-rich foods, which includes tomatoes and watermelons, zinc-rich foods such as pumpkin seeds, I talk a lot about those here, nuts, and then cruciferous vegetables like broccoli and kale to help reduce the inflammation. There are omega-3 fatty acids as well. So this is fish, flaxseed, and walnuts. Now, walnuts introduce something really interesting to herbalists because it follows the doctrine of signatures, which is it does exactly what it says on the tin. It looks like a brain, it's great for the brain. It looks like a thyroid, it's great for the thyroid. It looks the right size for the prostate, and indeed it is excellent for the prostate. You want to avoid irritants like caffeine, alcohol, and spicy foods, and you want to reduce evening fluids to limit the amount of times you're getting up in the night to go to the toilet. Now, when it comes to herbal medicine, the research supports a number of different herbs. First and foremost, pumpkin seed oil. 500 micrograms twice a day is really effective, both for the amount of zinc and managing the prostate. Rose bay willow herb is useful for nighttime urination and also to reduce the amount of inflammation in your system, as is maritime pine bark. This is pycnogenol, which can be got as a supplement. Prunus africana is used to improve urine flow and reduces the frequency of urination. Sol palmetto is gentler than some of the prescribed alpha blockers. This is used to try and stop testosterone being transformed into dihydrotestosterone, which is 5 times stronger and directly connected to benign enlarged prostate. Similarly, nettle root is effective at stopping that movement from testosterone to DHT, but also working at reducing the amount of estradiol that is produced and therefore limiting the impact that the hormones are going to have on your prostate. There's a number of supplements such as zinc, selenium, quercetin, beta-sitosterol, D, K2, green tea extract, and magnesium that are useful. But if your diet is varied and incorporating a lot of color and vegetables in it, then you really may not need it. You want to reduce the toxin exposure, so eat organic, filter your water, limit the amount of plastics. Try and manage your stress, so meditate, tai chi, forest bathing, pray, anything that tries to dampen down your stress response and allows your testosterone levels to rise again. You want to move the pelvic floor. So this is Kegel exercises, aerobic activity. Just even by walking or running, you're massaging that prostate because it's constantly moving, and therefore the fluid and the retention is getting to move out of the prostate rather than just stagnating where you're sitting. And you should consider some hormone balancing herbs or stress reduction to prevent testosterone conversion worsening with BPH. Now, you could consider something like pine pollen, which is really useful as a natural testosterone. It's a phytoandrogen in your system. And you can try grounding techniques such as walking or cold water swimming. Now, alpha blockers or 5-alpha reductase inhibitors are available over the counter, but to be honest, saw palmetto and nettle root work really well and have less side effects than what you're going to get with the pharmaceuticals. In severe cases, they may suggest surgery such as TURP, and certainly herbalists can help support you through that as well. Now, without going into daily routines, if you want to manage this, it does not have to be overwhelming. A blend of healthy eating, herbal medicine, targeted supplements, exercise, and stress management can really significantly improve the symptoms that you have and your quality of life. If you want to take a more active approach, then consider herbal suppositories, because that will act directly on the prostate. And don't shy away from getting checked. Prostate exams are not everybody's favorite, but they are quick and easy and important for your health. So if you have any questions, drop me an email or join the forum, but let's keep the conversation going. Thanks for tuning in. If you find it helpful, then do hit like or subscribe and share it with anyone else that you may benefit. You can certainly contact me on thewildsage@proton.me. And remember, stay healthy, stay well, and see you next time. Cheers.